Hello and welcome. Let your mind drift, let your body grow heavy. Let the world outside fade into a soft, distant hum. Allow your thoughts to soften, to become like clouds passing slowly, without purpose, across a quiet midnight sky. We are going on a journey, not to a distant star or a time long past, but to a place that is here, right now. A place closer than any other, and yet more mysterious. We are going to the bottom of the world. Imagine yourself floating, weightless, suspended in calm, quiet water. It is the middle of the night. You are in the vast, open Pacific Ocean. There is no land in sight. There is no moon. There is only a profound, deep, velvet darkness. Above you, a vast, diamond-sharp blanket of stars. The Milky Way is a smear of light, a river of ancient dust, arcing from one horizon to the other. It is a sight of overwhelming peace. You can feel the gentle swell of the water, a slow, rhythmic rise and fall. It is the quiet, planetary breath of the ocean. The night air is warm and humid. It rests on your skin like a soft, damp cloth. The water around you is warm too. It is the same temperature as the air. You can barely tell where the air ends and where the water begins. You are floating at the boundary of two great kingdoms, the world of air and the world of water. The world above, the world of air and light and stars, is the one we know. It is the one we live in. We walk on its dry land. We breathe its familiar air. We feel the sun on our skin. But the world below, this dark, liquid mirror, this other 70% of our planet, is a place of profound mystery. This peaceful surface, this gentle, breathing ocean, is a veil. It is the thin, sunlit skin of a much deeper, much larger, hidden world. We live on this planet, but we only truly inhabit its surface. We think of our world as a place of land, of continents, of mountains and forests and deserts. We think of our great cities and our open plains, but that is such a small part of its truth. Most of our world is not this. Most of our world is water, and most of that water is deep and dark, a place of stillness, a place of pressures we can barely comprehend. The true majority of our planet, the vast living volume of it, is this abyssal night, a realm we have only just begun to explore. We have always been creatures of the sky. We look up with such curiosity. We have pointed our telescopes at the edges of the universe. We have charted the invisible paths of distant galaxies. We have mapped the pale, dusty craters of the moon in such exquisite detail. We know its mountains and its seas of dust. We have sent robotic rovers to wander the red frozen plains of Mars. We have charted its ancient riverbeds. We have named its silent volcanoes. We know the faces of these distant, silent worlds, in many ways better than we know our own home. On a map of our own planet, the greatest features are still just a blue, empty shadow, a single, flat color that hides a world of canyons and mountains and plains all veiled by water. This blue expanse on our maps, it is not a place. It is a lack of information. It is a question mark. We have mapped less of our own seafloor than we have of the surface of Mars. In this vast blue expanse of the Pacific Ocean, there is a place. It is not an island or a mountain or a continent. It is an absence, a scar, a deep curving crease in the planet's crust. It is a place where one great tectonic plate is sliding beneath another, a place of slow geological subduction. A place where the Earth's skin is folding in on itself, pulling the ocean floor down and down and down. This is the Marianas Trench, the deepest known point on planet Earth. It is a place of almost mythical proportions. The numbers are so large they are hard to hold in our minds. The trench is a crescent-shaped canyon over 1,500 miles long. It is a massive feature, a wound in the planet's face, and it is deep, profoundly deep. Let us try to imagine this depth. Imagine you could take Mount Everest, the roof of our world, all 29,032 feet of it, the highest point of rock and ice on our planet. Imagine you could gently place it into this trench. You would watch its snow-capped peak vanish beneath the waves. It would sink, it would fall, down and down and down for miles. It would fall through the light. It would fall through the blue. It would fall through the darkness. And when it finally settled on the bottom, its summit, the highest point on our planet, would still be covered by more than a mile of dark, cold water. There would still be 7,000 feet of ocean above its peak. This is the scale of the void, a place so deep it could swallow our tallest mountains without a trace. For most of human history, this place was not even a concept. The ocean was just the deep. Its true depth was a mystery, a place for legends, for sea monsters, for lost souls. It was only in 1875, aboard a wooden sailing ship called the HMS Challenger, that we first tried to touch the bottom. This ship was on a 4-year journey, the first great oceanographic expedition. Imagine the scene, the creak of the wooden deck, the smell of salt and tar, the snap of the great canvas sails in the wind, the scientists and sailors gathered around a sputtering steam winch. They were not explorers of new lands, but of new depths. They had a rope, a thick, heavy hemp line, miles long, spooled on the winch. They attached a heavy lead weight to its end, and they lowered it over the side, and they waited. They watched the line unspool. The steam winch turned and clanked and hissed, letting out more and more rope. It passed 1,000 feet, a mile, 2 miles. The sailors, used to the shallow coastal shelves, must have watched in disbelief. The line just kept going, mile after mile, into the blue, into the dark. The sun was high in the sky. They waited for hours in the hot Pacific sun, listening to the steady clank of the machine. The sun began to dip towards the horizon. Still the rope fell. Finally, after letting out over 5 miles of rope, almost 27,000 feet, the line suddenly went slack. It had touched the bottom. They had found the first echo of the abyss. It took them many more hours just to haul the heavy, wet rope back on board. They had proven that the ocean was not just deep, it was profoundly deep, a place of unimaginable scale. But a number is not a place. A measurement is not an experience. To truly understand this, we must go there ourselves. So let us leave the starlit surface. Let us leave the warm night air. Let us begin the long, slow descent. Let your mind sink calmly, quietly, down. We slip beneath the waves. The air is gone. The sound of the swell fades, replaced by a muffled, quiet, liquid calm. A profound hush. You are leaving one world and entering another. For the first few hundred feet, the world is bright and familiar. This is the sunlight zone, the epipelagic. The sun's rays are strong here. They pierce the water in brilliant, shifting shafts of light. They look like the columns of a vast living cathedral. They dance on the back of a passing turtle. They flicker like diamonds on the surface, seen from below. They illuminate schools of silver fish, darting as one. They light up the tiny, drifting plankton, the microscopic forests that form the base of all life in the sea. The world is alive and warm and colorful. This is the ocean we know. This is the world of light. But we keep sinking. Slowly, steadily, we drift down. Past 300 feet, past 500 feet, past 600 feet. The world begins to change. The light is no longer bright. It is a deep, crystalline, sapphire blue. The warm colors of the sun cannot penetrate this deep. Red is the first to leave. It is a shy color, absorbed quickly by the water. If you were to bleed here, your blood would look black or blue. Then the oranges fade. The yellows follow. All the warmth of the spectrum is gone. The water is getting colder. The warmth of the surface is a memory. Only the blue and the faint violet remain. We are now entering the twilight zone, the mesopelagic. It is a world of shadows, a world of silhouettes, a world of shifting monochromatic blue. The pressure begins to make itself known. It is not a violent force. It is a gentle, constant weight, the feeling of a light blanket, steadily growing heavier, the weight of the water above, a steady, even embrace. We sink deeper, 1,000 feet. The blue is darker now, a deep indigo, a royal heavy blue. 2,000 feet. The light is barely a suggestion. It is the very last hint of the day. The creatures here are different. They have large, sensitive eyes, designed to catch these last stray photons. Their bodies are often dark or red, which appears black in this light, or they are mirrored, silver like phantoms, reflecting the dim blue to become invisible. 3,000 feet. We have reached the end of the sun's reach. The last rays of sunlight are here. They are faint, faint as the light of a distant star, a dim memory of a day that has ended. The surface feels very, very far away, like a different world, like a dream. And then, as the last of the sun's light is extinguished, as we sink into perfect, total darkness, a new light appears. This is not the light of the sky. This is the light of life itself, bioluminescence. In the deep, deepening darkness, we see a tiny spark, a flicker of green or cold blue, then another and another. We are sinking through a living galaxy, a cold, silent, magical light show. This is a language of the deep. A ghostly, pale light from a lanternfish drifts by. It carries its own lure, a single living beacon in the endless dark. The light is made by bacteria living inside the lure. The fish is a farmer, tending its own small star. It is fishing in the void. A comb jelly floats past. It is a creature of pure, delicate gelatin. It looks like blown glass, and as it moves, it pulses with rippling, internal rainbows. This is not light it makes. It is light it scatters. A prismatic, silent dance. Then another creature pulses with a blue-green light. A defensive flash, a startle, a warning, a siphonophore, a creature like a long, glowing string of pearls, some 100 feet long, drifts by, a living nebula. It is not one creature, but a colony of thousands working together, each part with a different job, to float, to feed, to sting, to glow. A floating city of light. We see the stoplight loosejaw, a fish with a dark red light beneath its eye, a strange, hidden light. Most creatures in the deep cannot see red light. Their eyes are tuned to blue and green, so the loosejaw can illuminate its prey, a tiny red shrimp, without ever being seen. It is a living sniper's scope. It operates in stealth, and the vampire squid. It is not a vampire. It does not suck blood. It is a gentle creature, a detritivore. It eats the drifting marine snow. When threatened, it can unfurl its webbed arms like a cloak, revealing an array of glowing photophores. A sudden, dazzling display. And if that fails, It can eject a cloud of glowing, sticky mucus, a cloud of confusing light, a phantom of itself, while it escapes into the dark. This is a world of living stars, a universe of cold light, each spark with a purpose, to lure, to warn, to hide, to speak in the silent night. We continue to sink, past 4,000 feet, past 8,000 feet, past 10,000 feet, past 12,000 feet. We have left the twilight zone. We are now in a world where the sun has never, ever shone. We have entered the midnight zone, the abyssopelagic. The darkness here is absolute. It is a perfect ancient darkness, a primordial dark. It is not just the absence of light. It feels like a presence, a heavy velvet blanket, a darkness that is not empty. It is a darkness that is full of pressure, full of stillness, full of secrets. We are now in the true abyss. We are sinking past the great, flat, abyssal plains, the deep ocean floor, 4 miles below the surface. These plains are the largest single habitat on Earth, vast, flat, endless expanses of mud, a desert of silt stretching for thousands of miles in every direction. The stillness here is unbroken. It is a stillness that is active, a perfect calm. There is no day here. There is no night. There are no seasons. There are no storms. The fury of a hurricane on the surface with its 100-foot waves is not even felt here. It is a whisper, a rumor miles above. The clock has no meaning. There is only now, a single, unbroken, permanent night. The temperature is just a few degrees above freezing. It never changes. It is a world of perfect, cold constancy. And the pressure. Let us pause and feel the pressure. It is no longer a gentle weight. It is an immense total presence. At this depth, the pressure is over 6,000 pounds per square inch. It is the weight of the sky, multiplied 1,000 times. Imagine a single coin on your thumbnail. Now imagine a small car balanced on that coin. Now imagine a stack of 100 cars, all balanced on that tiny space. It is a force that would crush any human, any submarine not built of solid titanium. It is a pressure that compresses wood to the size of a coin. It makes air a deadly poison. It changes the rules of chemistry. But it is not a violent force. It is a total embrace, a perfect equalizing stillness. It presses in from all sides at once, equally, perfectly. It holds everything in a perfect, crushing embrace. It is the weight of the world, and yet there is life. Life is here. It has adapted. It has thrived. It is made of water, so the pressure outside is matched by the pressure inside. It feels nothing. Life here is slow. Life here is patient. Energy is the most precious currency. Food is rare, so life does not hurry. Metabolisms are tuned to a pace we can barely imagine. Creatures here may live for hundreds of years. Their heartbeats may be minutes apart. They live in a different time. The anglerfish does not hunt. It waits. Its body is dark and globular. It is perfectly still. Only its living lure, the glowing esker, dances in the dark. This light is not from the fish itself. It is from a colony of symbiotic bacteria living in the lure, a tiny, tamed galaxy, a beacon in the dark. It waits for a meal to come to it, the gulper eel or pelican eel, a creature that is almost nothing but a mouth and a stomach. Its jaws can unhinge to swallow prey much larger than itself. It drifts in the current, a living net, an act of pure potential, waiting for one good meal that might last it for a year. The tripod fish, a pale, slender creature that stands on the seafloor. It rests on 3 impossibly long, delicate, stilt-like fins. These fins are like sensors. It does not see. Its eyes are almost gone. Instead, it listens with its whole body. It stands perfectly still, feeling the faint vibrations of prey in the water, waiting for a tiny shrimp to drift by. These are not monsters. They are triumphs of patience. They are the masters of this cold, dark quiet. And what do they eat? What fuels this slow, patient kingdom? We look up into the miles of darkness, and we see it. A slow, constant, gentle drift of particles. It looks like dust in a sunbeam, but there is no sun. This is marine snow. It is a never-ending silent snowfall. It is the dust of the world above, the remains of tiny plankton that lived and died in the sunlight, fragments of life, the gelatinous houses of larvaceans, dust from the continents blown out to sea and sinking, the waste of the creatures in the twilight zone. This is the memory of the sun drifting down to feed the bottom of the world. It is a feast of ghosts. It can take weeks or even months for a single, delicate flake of this snow to complete its long, slow journey. A journey from the sunlit surface, through the twilight zone, past the glowing, hunting creatures, down and down and down. And the creatures here wait for it, the pale white sea cucumbers, like living slugs the size of your arm, crawl across the mud, sifting it for this snow. They are the earthworms of the abyss. Brittle stars, with their long spidery arms, rake it from the current. This is the fuel that runs this entire hidden ecosystem, a gentle rain of energy from a world they will never see. We are now 6 miles down. We've sunk past the abyssal plain, the normal floor of the deep ocean, and now we sink further. We are descending into the trench itself, into the Hadal zone, named for Hades, the unseen world. We are no longer just in the deep ocean. We are sinking into the crust of the planet. The topography changes. It is no longer a flat plain. The walls of the trench, great slopes of compressed rock, rise up around us in the dark. We are in a canyon, the deepest canyon on Earth. The pressure builds 14,000 pounds per square inch, 15,000, and we sink down, 7 miles. We've reached the Challenger Deep, the bottom of the world. If we turn on a light, a powerful artificial light, what do we see? Not jagged rock. The ground is a fine pale silt, a soft beige powder. It is the final dust of the world. The compressed, dissolved remains of tiny shells, and the marine snow that has fallen undisturbed for millennia. The water is near freezing. The darkness is absolute, ancient, and perfect. The pressure here is over 16,000 pounds per square inch. It is the weight of a jumbo jet balanced on your thumb. The silence is the oldest on Earth, but it is not truly silent. If you listen with sensitive instruments, hydrophones designed for this world, you can hear the slow, deep groans of the Earth's plates grinding against each other, the sound of a planet in motion. You can hear the faint, distant calls of whales, traveling thousands of miles, their songs warped by the pressure. For so long it was believed this was a lifeless void, a place of pressure so great and darkness so complete that life could not hold on, that even bacteria would be crushed, a place of stillness and nothing else. But this belief was a failure of our imagination. It was not a failure of life. Life is more clever than we are, more resilient, more patient, and it is everywhere. Recent expeditions have touched this silty floor. Submersibles built of forged titanium, spheres of metal strong enough to withstand the pressure, have carried human eyes to this unseen place. They have turned on their lights, and they have looked. And what they found, what they are finding right now, overturns everything we thought we knew. This is not a dead zone. It is a hidden kingdom. The soil here is not just mud. It is a living archive. It is a teeming city. Scientists analyzing these samples found a world teeming with microbes. They began to count. Not 10, not 100, but thousands. They found 7,564 distinct microbial species living in this mud. 7,564. And of those, almost 90% were previously unknown to science. To understand this, imagine if 9 out of every 10 living things you saw today were completely new, creatures never before seen by human eyes. That is the Marianas Trench. The diversity of this single deep crease in the earth rivals the entire known microbiome of all the world's oceans combined. Life is not avoiding this place. It is thriving. It has created a unique, complex, and rich world for itself in the dark. And there are larger residents, the keepers of the deep. The lights of the submersibles have illuminated ghost-like figures gliding through the dark. 11 different species of pale, translucent snailfish. They are not fish of scale and muscle. They are fish of gel and shadow, almost transparent. Their skin is like wet tissue paper. They glide through the water, untroubled by a pressure that would turn bone to dust. They are the top predators of this deep world, and in the silt, tiny shrimp-like creatures called amphipods gather in dense pale clusters. They are the grazers of this deep pasture. They are all masters of survival. They are built for this world. They have secrets. The pale snailfish possess a secret in their very cells. Our cells are like tiny bubbles, held together by a fluid membrane. Under this pressure, that membrane should stiffen like butter in a freezer. It should become brittle and break. Life should fall apart. But these fish are different. Their bodies are rich in special fatty acids, a unique adaptation that keeps their cell membranes fluid and stable. It keeps them soft and pliable. It is a natural antifreeze for their very being. The tiny amphipod, the shrimp-like creature, holds an even greater secret. Its genome, its genetic library, is 4 times larger than our own. 4 times. This tiny, simple creature carries a vast, complex instruction manual, a manual for survival written over eons in the language of genetics, a manual for how to build a body that can withstand the cold, the dark, and the pressure, a library for survival, 4 times more complex than the one that builds us. And all of them, the fish, the microbes, the amphipods, they share a common defense, a powerful antioxidant mechanism, a way to mend themselves at a cellular level, a way to fight the damage caused by the extreme cold and the unthinkable pressure and the lack of nutrients. They have all, independently, found a way to hold themselves together, a lesson in quiet resilience. We are not just imagining. This is not a story or a hypothetical journey. This expedition truly happened. We are, at this very moment, living in the age of its discovery. We can picture the small, strong vessel, the Fenduge, the Striver. Its mission is so recent that its support ship has only just returned to port, carrying the crew and the secrets they gathered from this very place. This is a real event. We see the submersible as it settled on the pale silt 7 miles down. Its gentle lights cut the ancient darkness. Its robotic arms moved with a slow grace, not to conquer, but to learn. Gently it gathered the samples of water and silt and life that are now, tonight, on the surface. waiting to be studied. And even now, at this very moment, another real journey is underway. A silent, sleek glider called the Red Wing patrols the deep ocean. Its historic journey began just this month. It is a lonely, patient robot on its first ever mission to circle the globe underwater, mapping the unseen currents, listening. And even now, as we sleep, as we dream, other explorers are slipping silently through the deep. We can picture the Red Wing autonomous glider, a sleek, silent yellow torpedo, launched just days ago. It is on its own global journey, the first of its kind, to circumnavigate the globe underwater. It is our lonely proxy, our silent observer. It doesn't have a crew. It has a mission. It is not fast. It is patient. It glides through the abyss, tasting the salt, feeling the cold, measuring the currents, and listening. It is a single, patient robot swimming through the abyssal night, slowly, quietly, mapping the great unseen. It is the grandchild of that first hemp rope, no longer just touching the bottom, but learning to swim. We conclude our journey. We begin the long, slow ascent in our minds. The Fenduge has returned to the surface, carrying its precious samples. The Red Wing continues its lonely patrol. They carry with them the secrets of the deep, and a new database has been opened, a Mariana consensus, not a flag but a library, an invitation to the world to study this new shared frontier, to learn from it. And the discoveries are astonishing. That shared antioxidant, that defense against pressure, that lesson in resilience. Scientists believe it could inspire new medicines for us on the surface, a way to help our own cells resist the pressures, not of water, but of time. A new frontier in medical therapy, a way to fight aging, found in the deepest dark. A secret to longevity, hidden at the bottom of the world. And in that ancient mud, they found other surprises. They found microbes that have learned to eat our pollution, tiny undiscovered organisms that can break down complex toxic chemicals, like benzene. Our waste, our mistakes, have drifted down even here, even to this most remote of places, and life, in its infinite patience, has already found a solution, a potential living tool to help heal the surface world. Waiting patiently at the bottom of the ocean, we ascend, back past the midnight zone with its patient hunters, back past the abyssal plains and the gentle falling marine snow. We rise into the twilight zone, the world of living light, the cold blue kingdom. We see the faint rays of the sun returning like a distant promise. The blue grows brighter, warmer, and then finally into the warm sunlit waters of the surface. We break through. The warm night air returns. We are back, floating under the same quiet, peaceful stars. The ocean is just as calm as when we left it, but we are different. We know now what it is hiding. It is not a void, it is a hidden kingdom. The greatest mysteries are not in the stars. They are not in distant galaxies. The greatest mysteries are here, on our own planet, in the deep, quiet, and dark water that covers our world, a place of wonder and silence and peace. Sleep well.